In left field, it is Evan Bourne. In center field, Sebastian Fabic. In right field, Ryan Sargent. Around the horn, it's Giannini at third base, Trevor Hafner at short, Aaron Levy at second, and Rudy Rote at first base. Derek Carr, the starting pitcher, doing the catching, Tanner Picnic. It's the Senior Day festivities. That's why it took us a moment to get on air, as the first pitch misses inside for ball 1-0. As I was announcing for the Senior Sunday Bobcats, here's a ground ball to short, fielded by Hafner as he goes to his left, firing onto first base for the first out. 2 pitches, 1 gone, and that's good work for Derek Carr. Carr's numbers so far this season: 3.64 earned run average, 1-1 in the decision category. This is his 14th appearance and 5th start, 29 2/3 innings pitched. He has struck out 24, walked 20. Opponents hitting just .239 against him. He's been a pretty good spot starter for the Cats, as they've not had full health and that rotation for well over a month. Showing bunt and pulling back on a pitch that's off the glove of Picnic and back to the screen for ball 1 is Andrew Stone. Stone bats from the left side. Ohio in their white pants, black tops today. Ohio across the chest in black, outlined by green. And if this pitch misses high, or I should say a dark green across the chest, outlined by white. Black caps with the Ohio O. 2 balls and no strikes to Stone, with 1 gone in the top of the first inning. The delivery to him, and overthrowing that pitch and missing in the right-handed batter's box, is Carr. 340 down the lines here, 380 to the power alleys, and 405 to dead center at the Wren in Athens, Ohio, on a beautiful sun-splashed Sunday afternoon. Here's the 3-0 from Carr, and that's a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. Home plate umpire today is Mark Schmidt. Jason Stidham at first base, Spizak at third. So Stidham and Spizak did their time behind the plate in games 1 and 2. And now it's Schmidt's turn. This one is fouled back to the screen, so the count is full, 3-2. Waiting on deck right now is Jimmy Roach. Stone batting .294. His on-base percentage is .412. Full count delivery oncoming. The lefty Carr to the lefty Stone, and he spoils this pitch and flies it out of play down the left field line. Will stay set here at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Set again for the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Blows it by him. Fastball, let her high. He might have tipped it into the mitt, but other than that, was not on it. And that's the first strikeout recorded of the day for Derek Carr, and the second out here in the top of the first inning. First pitch coming at 1:03, just a little bit behind schedule today, but we did a pretty good job on Senior Sunday, I think, of getting the first pitch close to on time. 1:06 the time now. Here comes Jimmy Roche, the third baseman, wears the number 10. Western Michigan is in their all-gray road uniforms today. Gray pants, gray jerseys. Swing and a miss, strike 1 on a slider inside. And so Carr is ahead, 0-1 on Jimmy Roche. Roche batting .327, slugging .427. Has a pretty good batting average with 2 out, though. Bats .377 in that category. 33 RBIs. Not an opportunity for him to do that here unless he drives himself in. Here's a grounder to third, and it'll get into left field underneath the glove of Tony Giannini. That will likely be an error. It was a high chopper to third. Took a couple of bounces, and Tony G was unable to get it. He flared his glove out there, but could not flash the leather, and that is an error. Nate Grice will come to the plate, and there's a runner on at first base after the error in the form of Roach. Carr with a peek over to first base. Now he'll kick and fire, and that pitch misses inside, 1-0. Nate Grice has done some damage in this series. He was 3 for 4 in game 1, hit a home run. Here comes the 1-0 with 2 outs. That one misses high, missing the spot the Picnic had set. We got a good crowd today on Senior Sunday, as probably well expected. 2 balls and no strikes. The lefty Carr looks in. Now he peeks over to first base. It's a very short lead. Now leaning a touch over there is Roach. Derek Carr doesn't seem too concerned with him. He pitches high and away, misses outside, and now Carr has fallen behind on Grise. 3 balls and no strikes. Once again, the Bobcat defense in left field today. It is Evan Bourne. In center field, Sebastian Fabic. In right, it's Ryan Sargent as we're set for the 3-0. Missing outside, that's a 4-pitch walk as Carr couldn't find his spots there. At third base, Tony Giannini. Shortstop, it is Trevor Hafner. Second base, Aaron Levy. Rudy Road at first, Carr and Picnic the battery. Here comes Blake Dunn. Dunn batting .320 this season. Gets on base 38% of the time with a .381 OBP. With 2 outs, the first pitch from Carr here to Dunn is in there for a strike, a fastball knee high, called strike 1. Another beautiful day at the ballpark in the mid-80s with the wind blowing out to left a touch today. Yesterday it was blowing out to right. Here comes the 0-1 from Carr, and that's strike 2 with a curveball that tumbles in there. And now he's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. So Carr got the first 2 outs relatively quickly, but after the error at third and a walk, he's dealing with runners at first and second. He's a strike away from getting us to the bottom of the first. Carr takes his time, wants to get the right call from Picnic here. Shaded towards second base is Hafner at short. They play it straight up everywhere else. Here comes the 0-2 from Carr. Misses inside. This bounces close to the foot of the batter Dunn, but didn't get a piece of him. Picnic did a great job just to keep that in front of him. And now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Carr pitching out of the stretch. The left-hander holds that glove on the right side of his chest before he then comes set belt high, as he does now. The 1-2, fouled back to the screen. Good fastball outside. Dunn was able to spoil it. He made a late decision to go after it and just barely got a piece of it to make it stay at 1-2. The 1-2 from Carr. Ground ball towards the hole on the left side of the infield. Unable to get to it was Hafner. Rounding third and heading for home, and going to be in there without a throw safely is Roche, and Western Michigan has taken an early 1-0 lead. That was a ground ball not hit considerably hard, but towards the hole on the left side. It was going to be a tough play for Hafner to knock it down. It was going to be an infield single if he was able to keep it in the infield, no doubt about that. But he was unable to do so, and it went out into shallow left. Thought Evan Bourne might have a throw to the plate. He did not, and safe there is Roche, and it's 1-0 after the RBI single off the bat of Blake Dunn. Here's Jesse Forstell, the catcher. Started this series in the 4-hole, batted 5th yesterday, bats 6th today. So he's just moved down in that 4, 5, 6 area in this 3-game series. 2 gone, 1 run in on a hit and an error so far here in the top of the first. There's a strike on a curveball. That's a good pitch from Carr. Carr being a little bit more patient here, trying to get the right call from Picnic, trying to pick his spots well. The 0-1 goes to the curveball again, catches the outside corner, and now he's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Ohio has trailed 1-0 in this series in both games now. Came back yesterday to win 10-7, lost game 1, 7-6. Ground ball to second, fielded by Levy. He'll go to first for the out. 1 run does come across for Western Michigan in the top of the first. They lead at 1-0. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. Here's Trevor Hafner. He leads things off. Western Michigan defensively. In left, it's Nate Grise. In center field, it's Connor Henderson. In right, it's Blake Dunn. Around the horn, Jimmy Roche at third. Connor Smith at short. Drew Devine at second. Logan Hudson at first base. The catcher, Jesse Forstell. The starting pitcher today for Western Michigan is Chris Modrinsky. First pitch swinging from Hafner. High drive to center, carrying back underneath it. Playable in center for Henderson. He makes the play a step in front of the warning track and that 4:05 sign for out number one. Hafner got into it, just missed it by a touch. Hit it about 390 feet to center field, but able to make the play was Henderson. Here's Sebastian Fabik. Fabik has had a good series so far, seen his batting average tick up a touch. He's been able to get on base, too. That's the thing that really matters with him batting higher up in the order recently. First pitch to him fouled off, dribbler at the plate, 0-1. Fabik yesterday 1 for 3, or in game one, I apologize, 1 for 3 with 2 runs and a walk. He got moved up to the 2-hole in game 2 and reached twice in that game as well. 1 for 4 with a run and a walk. So reaching base almost half the time that he comes to the plate so far in this series. That's not a bad thing for the guy. Batting in the 2-hole back-to-back days. Rudy Rote will bat third. He waits on deck. The southpaw Modrinsky deals, misses outside. It's 1-1. Modrinsky this season, a 5.52 earned run average, 3-3. He has appeared in 18 ball games. This is his 9th start. 44 innings pitched, struck out 32, walked 13. The 1-1 inside to Fabik. He takes it and bends out of the way. 309 batting average so far against this season, so opponents have hit him pretty well. The 2-1. That's in there for a strike. It was a fastball that started high but then came back down. Now the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ohio yesterday was not able to strike until the 3rd inning. It was the same case in game 1. Here's the 2-2. And that's taken low. Fabik was able to hold up. Checked his swing, and so now the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Modrinsky comes set. Deals the 3-2. Ball 4. Fabik aboard again. He's been doing a really good job lately. He has certainly warmed up. It was a slow start for him this season. And then he started getting consistent plate appearances back in the Kent State series. His defense is what has earned him the starting job, but now his on-base percentage has just slowly gone up, it seems like, over the past couple of weeks. Right now, his on-base percentage sits at now over 40%. That walk, his 15th of the season. So he's a guy who hasn't been getting aboard with the bat, but has been getting aboard with the eyes. 1 gone. Rudy Rote hits now with 1 out. I should say with 1 on. 1 gone and 1 on. That ball dribbled out of the mitt of the catcher Forstell as if he had a hole in it. Missed outside for a ball. It's 1-0. Fabik at first base is 0 for 1 in stolen base attempts this season. Has a solid lead over at first base. Gets a good secondary league on a curve ball that misses outside. It's now 2 balls and no strikes on Rudy Rote. Rudy has had a sensational series so far. His home run streak has now reached 6 games, I believe. I'm going to double check that. As time has been called, and an early mound meeting between Jernan and his pitcher Modrinsky will occur here, as he doesn't want him to lose things with Rudy Rote. Talking about the most dangerous bat in this lineup who's done considerable damage in this series and considerable damage over the past couple of weeks. So the meeting is broken up now by our home plate umpire. And now Rudy is ready to go. Madrinsky misses, 3 balls and no strikes. They are heavily pitching around Rudy right now, as I think anyone in baseball would if they could when they're facing him. The 3-0 to Rudy. Taking all the way, ball 4 low, and so now the Bobcats have runners at first and second after a 4-pitch walk to the most dangerous bat in the Bobcat lineup is given to Rudy Rote. That'll bring up Tanner Picnic, another very dangerous bat in this lineup. Klein is who waits on deck, but Picnic to the plate now. He brings his .282 average, his 7 home runs, and 23 RBIs to the dish. So Rudy hit 2 home runs in that Youngstown State game midweek after 1 home run against Ball State. Homered against Western Michigan in games 1 and 2, as that one is fouled out of play. So his streak of games with a home run is now at 4. And he has 5 home runs in his last 4 games. That pitch was fouled out of play. It's no balls and 1 strike. To the hitter, Picnic. He bats with runners at first and second. Winding and firing, and this one is fouled back to the screen. It's no balls and 2 strikes. And Rudy also homered back in Game 1 against Ball State on May 4th. Here's the 0-2 to Picnic. That misses high and wide. So in his last 6 games, Rudy Rote has 6 home runs. He's pretty much entirely on fire. And Western Michigan wisely pitched around him. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Picnic. Runners at first and second. Curveball fouled back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Picnic did a good job to be able to adjust to that and spoil it. So Ohio hits here trying to get back the run that they gave up in the top of the first here in the bottom of the first inning. Picnic is the hitter trying to do so with runners at first and second. Here's the 1-2 again, setting up outside and missing out there is Madrinsky. Forstell, that's right where he wanted it, maybe a touch. He maybe wanted it a touch more towards the plate, but he certainly wasn't setting up over the plate. And now the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes after the good plate discipline from Picnic. Taking his time is Madrinsky. He entered today with a 5.52 earned run average. Ohio trying to spot up a run here in the first inning. Here's a fly ball out of play. And off the hand of a man on the hill trying to make the snag as he's got his foldable chair set up over there. He wasn't able to make the play in the air. Got a big O from the crowd. The count stays even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Madrinsky out of the stretch. Looks in for the sign. Has the ball back behind his back hip. Now he comes set just below his chin at his chest. The 2-2 lifted by Picnic. High and deep to left. And this ball is gone. And Ohio has taken a 3-1 lead. High drive to left by Tanner Picnic gives Ohio a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the first inning. That there is Tanner Picnic's 8th home run of the season. That 3-run shot gives him 26 RBIs now on the year. As a team, the Bobcats have now hit 44 home runs, and Ohio's offense has come to life in this series, scoring 6 runs in game 1 in a loss, scoring 10 yesterday, and now they've already put up a 3 spot here in the bottom of the first inning today on a high drive to left off the bat of Tanner Picnic. He absolutely smoked that ball. The first pitch now to Michael Klein, who bats from the right side, misses outside 1-0. And Madrinsky's got to find control, but every time he's thrown a strike, it seems like it's been hittable pitches. Here's the 1-0. That pitch misses high and wide, 2 balls and no strikes. That walks will haunt graphic that used to pop up at Reds games, of course, reigns true as Sebastian Fabic, as the 2-0 is fouled out of play by Michael Klein, as Sebastian Fabic and Rudy Rote reached base on back-to-back walks. Fabic with another very good plate appearance. Rudy Rote was just completely pitched around. It was a 4-pitch walk. And then Picnic with a 3-run home run. Here comes the 2-1 from Madrinsky. As he tries to get back on track, there's a fastball inside edge. Klein thought it was inside, but it's called for strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2 to Klein. Fly ball off the end of the bat. It's going to get out of play past the Western Michigan bullpen and towards the softball field in right. Here at the Wren, the softball field is out to right. The convocation center way back of it. The batter's eye to dead center. West Green in the residence halls there. In left field, there's West Green as well in the trees. 340 there, 380 to the power alleys, 405 to dead center. This pitch is fouled back to the screen by Klein, so he continues to battle here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 ripped to left and foul. Completely smoked by Klein over the top of the Bobcat dugout and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch count for Madrinsky is going to be really high after inning 1. He is now at 23 pitches with only 1 gone and 3 runs in for the Cats. Took only 1 hit for Ohio to get those 3 runs, courtesy of a home run off the bat of Tanner Picnic. Here's the 2-2. And that pitch missed inside. The count is full at 3-2. Thought for a moment that maybe our home plate umpire, Mark Schmidt, was going to ring Klein up. But that pitch definitely missed inside. The count now full at 3-2. Madrinsky is laboring. Here's the full count delivery, and that's ball 4 to Klein. He missed low with it. And that's a walk for Michael Klein. That's the 3rd walk here in the 1st inning. And now all of a sudden, Western Michigan is already sending an arm down to the bullpen because Madrinsky is struggling. He has now thrown 27 pitches. Hitting now is Tony Giannini. And aboard at first base is Michael Klein, and there's still only 1 gone. And the first pitch missing outside to Tony Giannini. It's 1-0. So Madrinsky has pretty much been pitching out of the stretch all inning long. He was able to get Hafner. But then since then, it was walk, home run, walk, decline. Got a pitch out of the windup there. Now straight back to the stretch. Giannini pops this one up sky high towards the Western Michigan dugout, giving chase his Forstel, and this will bounce off the top of the Western Michigan dugout and into the bleachers and out of play. 1 ball and a strike. Tony G batting .254 is the Bobcat third baseman, .315 on base percentage this season. He's struggled with runners on this year, though, batting only .172. Ryan Sargent is who waits on deck. Tony Giannini, one of the seniors honored today in the pregame ceremonies. Here's the break-even pitch. Swings over the top of a curveball. Actually, it was a foul tip off the mitt of Forstel. In and out of his mitt. So now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Madrinsky trying and laboring to get to out number 2, let alone out of this bottom of the 1st inning. Here's the 1-2 curveball, misses high. Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 31 pitches for Madrinsky here in the 1st inning. Ohio leads 3-1. The 2-2. And that missed low. Count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. It appears that warming up in the bullpen is Andrew Reisinger. We saw him earlier in this series. Western Michigan just hoping that maybe they can get a couple innings out of Madrinsky at this point with the way he's thrown the ball here in the 1st. Throw over to first base and back in on a head-first dive is Michael Klein. Klein, another one of those seniors honored today. and the hitter Tony Giannini a part of that group. Evan Bourne in the hole was honored. He hit a home run yesterday. And the full count delivery. Instead, it's a throw over to first base, and back in there on a head-first dive again is Tony G. It's been a long first inning. First pitch came at 1:03. We're already to 1:30. Here's the full count delivery to Giannini. Rips it to left, carrying back towards the 380 mark, and it's going to get up against the wall on a couple of hops. Rounding third and heading for home and being waved home. It's going to be a close play at the plate. Sliding in at his feet and in there safely is Klein. And safe at third base on the throw is Tony Giannini. Firing it down to third base was Forstell. Tony G wisely advanced as they threw to the plate. That's going to be scored a double. Advancing to third base on the throw was Tony Giannini. Give him an RBI and another double. He adds to his career-high doubles in a single season. That there is his 12th of the year. And for Tony Giannini, that is his 16th extra base hit. And Madrinsky's day is done. The call to the bullpen by Jernan in the bottom of the first inning. Ohio leads it 4-1. We'll take a 60-second pause and let you know who the new Bronco pitcher is. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. With Ryan Sargent coming to the plate, Andrew Reisinger on the year he has not started a game. And so this is his 29th appearance. He's gone 49 innings out of the bullpen. And he has come into baseball games and been registered with a win on 8 different occasions. This one has popped up and out of play for strike 1. So if you're Ohio, you just got to be careful when you look at the numbers to say, okay, this is a guy who comes into the ball game and normally pitches well enough to keep Western Michigan in it. It's no balls and a strike. Tony Giannini is at third base. The infield is in for Western Michigan here, and Ryan Sargent fouls this one out of play 0-2. So the Broncos trying to keep the deficit that they currently face at 3 runs as Ohio has put up a 4 spot here in the bottom of the first inning. But a hard hit ball through the infield would easily score Giannini. But Sargent is now down, no balls and 2 strikes. Reisinger, a righty, throws out of the stretch, comes set at his belt. Rocks and fires, and misses high and wide with that pitch. Just doing a good job to keep that from going to the back of the screen was Forstell. That was high and wide like no tomorrow. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bourne waits on deck. He homered in yesterday's ball game. But it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Sargent here. Infield in for WMU. Popped up on the infield, now going back of home plate, chucking his mask underneath it and making the play as the catcher Forstell for out number 2. Thought for a moment that would carry back over the screen, but it came back towards home plate, and Forstell was able to chuck his mask and make the play. Here comes Evan Bourne. Sargent, by the way, yesterday 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs, but was unable to come through there, and now here's Evan Bourne. Evan Bourne yesterday had a really good ball game. Just 1 hit, but it was a 3-run home run. Gave Ohio at the time a 7-4 lead. They ended up winning that game 10-7. So Bourne hits here, batting .214 on the season. 3 long balls. Reisinger hits his spot on the outside corner for a called strike with a 2-seam fastball. It's 0-1. Giannini at third base. He had an RBI double, advanced to third on the throw. Actually, that was scored at triple. My apologies. They did score that at triple. Straight triple all the way for G. Tony G dances at third base. Fastball misses low from Reisinger this time. 1 ball and a strike. Ohio scored 3 runs on a Tanner Picnic home run. This has been a long first inning. It wasn't too bad in the top half. 1 run did come across, but Carr was able to get through it. But now this bottom half has been lengthy. Rocking and firing and missing low and away is Reisinger. And now it's 2 balls and a strike, and Evan Bourne is ahead here. Bourne turned on a fastball yesterday and put it up against the screen on the softball field to right. Bats from the left side. Setting up inside is Forstell here. Here's the 2-1. Bourne was a little late on it. He fouls it out of play. And now the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's deuces across the board with Tony Giannini at third base. Here's a line drive to left, tailing towards the foul line and leaping up and making the play in left after bobbling it for a moment was Nate Grise. He reached up over his head as he was trailing towards the corner in left, bobbled the ball, and then was able to basket catch it by his stomach for out number 3. It was hit hard by Bourne, but Grise was there to make a dramatic play for the third out. We head to the second. Ohio leads at 4-1. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. Leading off the top of the second inning for the Cats, or I apologize, leading off the top of the second inning for the Broncos is Devine. Drew Devine bats from the right side of the plate. First pitch he sees, he lines hard for a strike 0-1. Here comes the 0-1 from Carr. It's in there for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Carr ahead here. Good. Ohio leads it 4-1 in the top of the second inning. Derek Carr looked solid in the first inning, but did give up a run. Ohio put up a 4 spot, though in the bottom half to back him. And swinging a miss over the top of a curveball, completing the out with the tag is Picnic. And there is 1 gone, and that is the second strikeout recorded by Derek Carr today. Here's Logan Hudson. Hudson bats from the right side, the first baseman for Western Michigan. His pitch misses inside, 1-0. The 1-0 misses high and wide, 2 balls and no strikes. So Carr got ahead quickly on Devine. Now he's fallen behind Hudson, 2-0, with a couple of fastballs. Swing and a miss over the fastball there, and Derek Carr reared back and fired that one right down Broadway. Completely challenged Hudson. He wasn't able to do anything with that. Two balls and 1 strike. Carr with an over-the-top curveball in there for strike 2. Does a good job to battle back to even this count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes after falling behind. The Bobcats play it straight up defensively. 1 gone in the top of the second. Carr comes set at his belt. Here comes the 2-2. Curveball misses high. Didn't break down enough, and the count is full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. The 3-2, bouncing ball to short. Hafner moved in on it, then had to back up on a high hop, throws to first base. Rudy Rote cleans it up with a nice pick on the back end for the second out. Good play by Hafner. He was charging at first, then realized that the second hop was going to be much higher to his right than he originally expected. Was able to get back on the ball, made the snag, kind of almost snow-coned it to get it into his mitt, then fired onto first base for the second out. There's 2 gone in the top of the second. Showing bunt, putting it down, fielded by Carr. He'll go to first, and he airmails it into right field. Getting to it quickly was Sargent, but that still will not be quickly enough to prevent Henderson to advance all the way to second base. And really, it was an ill-advised throw from Carr on the first place because Connor Henderson was going to be safe, whether that throw was going to be to the chest of Rudy Rote or whether it was going to be airmailed like it was. And so Henderson is at second base after a bunt, probably single and error, and that is how it is scored. Advancing to second on the throwing error. And so that'll bring up Connor Smith with 2 outs and 1 on. Runner in scoring position, batting .298 in that category is Connor Smith. That's 3-0-2 with 2 outs. Hits from the right side. The lefty Carr takes a peek back to second, comes set at his belt. Curveball in there for a strike. He's spinning that curveball really well. No balls and 1 strike. Carr taking his time here as he gets the signs from Picnic. The runner at second base is Henderson. Here comes the 0-1 from Carr. Fastball lifted to center. Fabic oncoming, and he'll dive and is unable to make the play. He's made a couple incredible plays this year. Couldn't make that one. Rounding third and scoring on the play is Henderson. Advancing to second as the ball squirted away and was fielded by Sargent a little bit late. And in there safely is Smith. And so in at second with probably scoring a double is Connor Smith. Scoring on the play is Henderson. And now it's 4-2. So both teams have scored every single time they've come to the plate. Obviously, Ohio has only hit once in this game so far, but Western Michigan has scored 1 run in the first and now 1 run here in the second on the Bobcat left-handed starter, Derek Carr. That'll bring up Andrew Stone, though. He was the first strikeout victim of the ball game back in the first inning. Maybe Carr can get rid of him the same way here. Tony Giannini is in on the grass at third base. Holding the runner on at second is Hafner, so he's close to the bag at second. First pitch is a curveball in there for a strike. Rudy Rote is even with the bag at first base. And playing traditional depth at second is Aaron Levy. Shaded heavily towards left center and in is Sebastian Fabic. Playing in very shallow left is Evan Bourne. And in right center is Ryan Sargent. There's a lot of hitting room, though, between Fabic and Bourne. In dead center and heading towards right. Here comes the 0-1. That pitch misses high and inside from Carr. Count even at 1 ball and a strike. This pitch misses high and inside. Now it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Carr's fallen behind after that break-even pitch. Here comes the 2-1. That pitch misses high. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. And ready to chuck his bat was Stone before he realized the count was at 2 balls and a strike. The 3-1 from Carr. Hard hit ball on a couple of bounces to Levy. Fielded right at him at second. He'll go to first to Rudy Rote for the out. 1 run does come across for Western Michigan. Ohio leads at 4-2 as we head to the bottom of the second. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB.
1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base.
Max McDulin here today, and of course we'll be monitoring the scores around the Mid-American Conference as we discussed at the top of the broadcast. There's a little bit of scoreboard watching happening. Ohio's maximum wins, of course, are 13. Eastern Michigan and Toledo both hold the tiebreaker over the Cats. Western, of course, who the Cats play this weekend, sits in front of Ohio right now, but Ohio, as long as they take care of business today, if they were to win out, would be ahead of Western Michigan by the end of the season. So it's all about what Eastern Michigan and Toledo are doing, and we'll get you those scores as we go on throughout today's ball game. But Eastern Michigan is playing against Kent State, and Toledo is playing against Ball State this weekend. First pitch swinging and lifting one deep to center, carrying back towards the wall. Leaping grab in center is made. An incredible play by Connor Henderson in center field, robbing an extra base hit from Aaron Levy, as he went over the top and made the play on a dive by the Ohio Bobcat logo in the right center field gap. That was one heck of a play for out number 1, and a tip of the cap from Andrew Reisinger to his center fielder Henderson for out number 1. The lineup will now turn over after Levy's one-pitch line drive shot, extra base hit, robbing play in center by Henderson, as he collects himself after going to the ground hard on the edge of the warning track, and he gives the thumbs up into Reisinger to say, yes, I'm ready to roll. And so here's Hafner. Hafner 0 for 1. He flew out to center field. He just missed hitting one out of here. He hit it to dead center about 390 feet, maybe even a little further than that. But Reisinger was able to get under it and make the play. Curveball is over for a strike. It's 0-1. So Reisinger gets to throw from the windup here. The first inning was busy out of the stretch for 2 Western Michigan pitchers as he winds and fires and misses low and away 1-1. Madrinsky, the starter, got run very early, went 2/3 of an inning. Reisinger came in and was able to get the third out. But Ohio put up a 4 spot. They lead it 4-2. Here's a ground ball to third, fielded there by Roche. The long throw is there in time, beating Hafner by a few steps. And there's 2 gone very quickly here in the Bobcat bottom of the second. Western Michigan added a run in the first and added a run in the second. And so it's 4-2. Here's Sebastian Fabik, who's done a fantastic job of getting on base throughout this series, as he'll try and keep that going here. He walked in the first inning, eventually scored on the Tanner Picnic home run. The 1-0, that misses wide. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the 2-0 to Fabik. Pops this one up, right side of the infield. Underneath it is the second baseman, Devine. He barely had to move from his spot, and he makes the play leaning to his left for out number 3. Ohio unable to do anything here in the bottom of the second. They lead at 4-2. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. The way, Mid-American Conference scoreboard, taking a peek at that. Ball State and Toledo's first pitch will be at 2 p.m. That pitch misses high and wide, 2 balls and no strikes. Central Michigan and Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio up 2-1 there. Northern Illinois and Bowling Green first pitch is at 2 o'clock, and then, of course, it's 4-2 here. This pitch is in there for a strike. Derek Carr is even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike, as Jimmy Roach starts things here in the top of the third for Western Michigan. The break-even pitch. Line drive into left center. It's going to get in for a hit. It might get all the way to the wall. Fabik gets to it quickly. He's able to cut it off. He'll get the throw into second quickly, but in there with a slide safely is Roche. That was another great defensive play from Fabik to get that throw in very quickly so that there might be a play at second, but Roche just had too much of a head of steam into second for the Cats to be able to get a tag down on him, and a leadoff double here in the top of the third for the Broncos. Well, WMU has scored a run in the first and the second. They try and keep their inning scoring streak rolling. And the first pitch, did he go around? Indeed he did, says our third base umpire. Jeffrey Spizak at third base today. Stidham at first, Mark Schmidt behind the plate. The lefty Carr deals with a runner at second base. Kicks and will take a peek back at second and Back in there for a couple steps is Jimmy Roach. So again, Ohio plays Central Michigan next weekend, so essentially they have to win all 3 games there. That's in there for a strike. It's 0-2. And then Ohio is just hoping that Eastern falls to Kent State and then continues to struggle, and that Toledo remains in reachable distance. Ohio needs those teams to stay at the 12-win mark, essentially at a maximum, and Ohio needs to get to 13 in order to be taking a trip to Avon. No balls and 2 strikes. Derek Carr with a peek back to second base. Aaron Levy is holding the runner on pretty tightly there. Here's a fly ball to center. Fabic moving back on it. It's going to get off the wall. It had some deep carry into the right center corner. It gets all the way off. It's going to be a tough play. Fabic finally is able to get to it. Scoring on the play is Roach, taking a big turn at second. The throw into third base not in time, and in there safely with an RBI triple is Nate Grice. He has been hitting the cover off of the ball this weekend, and that continues here. And now Western Michigan is back within 1. It's 4-3 in the top of the third. That'll bring up Blake Dunn, the right fielder. He had an RBI single back in the first. If he does the same here, we'll be no better than when we started, as it's 4-3. Rob Smith will call time. No activity in the Bobcat bullpen currently. This is going to allow the Cats to get somebody up in the bullpen, as now a couple of Cats run out there. And Rob Smith will have a conversation with Carr. To finish my point, though, once again, the Cats will just have to beat Central Michigan, so they're not really concerned with them there. Central Michigan right now is sitting at 13-10, so Ohio would need Central feasibly to lose to Miami of Ohio. Top of the third in that one. And then after that, they're just going to need some help in some other places from both Toledo and Eastern Michigan. I believe those teams have already played each other. But I'll take a check on that right now as we have some time to do so, with a long conversation on the mound between Rob Smith and his starting pitcher, Derek Carr. Our home plate umpire, Mark Schmidt, is out there and appears to be very involved in the conversation as well. Yeah, so Bowling Green will play Toledo to finish the season. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Eastern is going to finish the season against Western. I could be wrong, but that's going to be my guess. We're set, ready to go again. 4-3. The batter is Blake Dunn. Derek Carr trying to protect what is now a 1-run lead for the Cats. Winds and fires. Curveball misses high and wide. It's 1-0. Nope, I was wrong. Eastern Michigan plays Northern Illinois. So it'll be scoreboard watching the rest of the day and through next weekend as Ohio tries hard to get to Avon. This pitch misses inside, 2 balls and no strikes. They put themselves in a tough spot to do so, but if they win out and get a little help, it's not impossible to get there, which you'd like to just be able to have a chance late in the season. 2 balls and no strikes. Derek Carr is dealing with some trouble. Pop fly, center field. Now with some carry. It's going to be at Fabic playing his traditional depth. Tagging, heading to home, and scoring as the throw is well up the first base line and fielded by Picnic there. We've got a tie ball game. Western Michigan has scored 2 here in the third. That's the first out recorded. And now here comes Jesse Forrester, and Derek Carr has given up 4 runs now total, and we're no better than where we began, 4-4 in the top of the third. Forstell grounded out to second in his first plate appearance today. Bats from the left side. That's a strike. So a fly out to center field. RBI by Dunn. Ties this thing up. Here's the 0-1 from Carr. Curveball in there for a strike. 0-2. It'll be interesting to see who Ohio goes to in the pen first. There is a righty warming up right now. The Carr works against the left-handed hitting Forstell. This lefty-lefty matchup right now, and Forstell calls time and will step out of the box. He gets something in his eyes there. Did he go? Indeed he did. He went around, offered at a fastball that was up at about the chin. He tried to check his swing, and Forstell was unable to do so. That's the second out. The scoreboard says 1 out, but there's 2 here in the top of the third inning. That pitch misses high. It's 1-0. The batter is Drew Devine, the second baseman. Struck out in the first inning. Derek Carr does have 3 strikeouts, but he's also given up 4 runs. Just 2 of those have been earned so far through 2 2/3 innings of work. That pitch misses high. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Devine showing some good patience here. Here comes the 2-0. That misses outside. And now it's 3 balls and no strikes. And so now Derek Carr has to battle all the way back if he wants to get an out here. Highly doubt Devine's hacking at anything here. 3-0. Misses high and wide. 4-pitch walk there by Carr, and he has really started to struggle. He's not hitting the strike zone. That is his second walk. He's given up 2 doubles and a triple, and he's thrown 56 pitches. And now here's Logan Hudson. Hudson 0 for 1, grounded to short, batting .333 on the year. Bats from the right side, facing the left-handed pitching Carr. Carr out of the stretch, comes set to the belt, takes a peek to first base. Now he comes with an over-the-top curveball that misses high. 1 ball and no strikes. The 2-0 from Carr. In the dirt, he has thrown 7 consecutive balls. Or I apologize, 6 consecutive balls. It's 2 balls and no strikes. The runner at first base is Devine. Now that is 7 consecutive balls. It's 3 balls and no strikes to the right-handed hitting Logan Hudson, and now finally time has been called by Picnic. Was waiting for this to happen. Now we'll see if Russ Eisenstein's theory remains true here, the fact that it is almost 95, 96, 97% of the time that you have a mound visit and your pitcher follows it up with a strike. By the way, Russ is at a wedding of former Bobcat Club head and current Raging Cajun Athletic Fund Director Jim Harris. That's the wedding he's at out in California today. I meant to bring that up. That is 8 straight balls, 2 straight 4-pitch walkers, and Rob Smith will make a call to the bullpen. That's much needed. Derek Carr could not find it, unfortunately, today. He's been very solid for the Cats this season. His ERA sits at 3.9. Batting average against not very high, but he just didn't have the stuff so far today. So a call to the bullpen for the Cats. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. 60-second pause for the call to the bullpen. Concerned with, can the Cats get a win and can the right teams lose that allow the Cats to still have a chance to make a trip up to Avon and be one of the 6 teams who have a chance? And can Ohio have a chance to defend its Mid-American Conference tournament title after winning in 15 and 17? Maybe it's the odd years that are the Cats seasons. But 18 is still alive. 2 on. Logan Hudson at first base. Devine is on at second. Jasek pitches here. He has entered the game for Derek Carr, who was run after 2 2/3 innings. There's a strike. Jasek immediately pops the mitt with a fastball right down the middle to get ahead. No balls and 1 strike to Connor Henderson. He reached on a bunt single back in the 2nd inning. Eventually scored. Pop fly right field. Playable. Oncoming. Underneath it is Sargent. Loses his cap in foul ground. Makes the play for the 3rd out. Logan Jasek comes in. Does the senior reliever. He gets the out the Cats needed to at least protect the tie. It's 4-4. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. In 4 straight games, and we'll see if maybe that streak can continue here today. He walked in the 1st. Bats here now in the bottom of the 3rd. That pitch misses outside. That's where they're pitching him. It was 4 straight balls, all outside, 3 fastballs, and maybe a changeup to him the first time he came to the plate. It was a fastball that misses outside here. Reisinger winds and delivers. Missed with that pitch, and Rudy ropes it into right center field gap for a single. It's cut off there by Dunn. If you miss with your pitches against Rudy Rote right now, he is going to be aboard because he is just not missing anything. This guy is incredible. Just absolutely sensational. Here's Picnic, who homered in the 1st. He hits now with 1 on and nobody out in the bottom of the 3rd. Here's the pitch. Misses high and inside to Picnic. It was a curveball that just didn't get in there enough. The 1-0. Foul ball out of play. One, break-even pitch, missed just outside. And so Picnic ahead, 2 balls and a strike. Ohio and Western Michigan tied 4-4 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 2 balls and a strike to Picnic with Rudy Rote on at first base. That was high and tight and just about clipped the jersey of Picnic, but did not. And so now it's 3 balls and a strike. Throw over to first base and back in safely is Rudy Rote. That was close. It was a high tag on the back of his helmet as he was stepping back on the bag. That was what the ooh and ahs were from the crowd. But he was back in safely. 3 balls and 1 strike. Rudy with a short lead at first base. He does have a few stolen base attempts this season. 3 for 3. Picnic pops this one out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The count is full. The count is full. Line drive, center field, carrying back, moving back on it and underneath it and making the play is Henderson. And Rudy Rote will have to trot back to first base, and there's 1 gone. Picnic was into that one just like he was into the home run that he hit to left, but it's much harder to hit one out to center. He hit that one about 375 feet to dead center. And on it was Henderson, and underneath it for the out. Here's Michael Klein. Klein bats with 1 gone. There's a strike on the outside corner. Rudy on at first base. 1 gone. Rudy Rote has been aboard both times he's come to the plate today. He's just been ripping the cover off the ball. Michael Klein has been looking better on the offensive side of things. He hits now. Reached base, scored a run in the first inning, but now he's behind, no balls and 2 strikes as he flails at a fastball low and away, and now it's 0-2. Waiting on deck is Tony Giannini. Holding the runner on at first base is the first baseman Hudson, and this pitch misses way outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That was almost outside of the left-handed batter's box. That's how outside that pitch was. Rudy Rote with a very short lead at first base. Now he extends it to the cut of the grass. The pitch to Klein, it's a breaking ball, and that one missed just a hair outside. Definitely a lot closer to the strike zone than the pitch before it. And now the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two, 1 out, 1 on for the Cats. That pitch misses outside again. Came back with maybe fastball. Outside, maybe a slide piece, actually. And now the count is full at 3-2. Reisinger taking his time. 4.38 ERA on the season, 8 wins and 1 loss out of the pen. That's pretty incredible. He came in back with just 2 outs in the first inning. Pickoff moved to first, back in safely as Rudy. Actually, I apologize. There was 1 gone when he came in the first inning. So pretty much give him the start, but register all the runs to Madrinsky. He gave up 4 of them. The count is full on Michael Klein. He already walked once today. Ohio will take a base runner in any way, shape, or form here. He scored on the Giannini triple. Giannini is who waits on deck. Full count delivery. Rudy Rote is going. That's ball 4. Take your base. Michael Klein. And Rudy, of course, in there safely at second, courtesy of the walk. And so now runners at first and second. Here's Tony Giannini. His RBI triple was the Cats' 4th and final run of the first inning. And that was the last run that was scored for the Cats. They led then 4-1. It's tied now 4-all. in the bottom of the third. One out, runners at first and second. First pitch missing outside to Tony Giannini, does a curveball, and he's ahead 1 ball and no strikes. So Andrew Reisinger has worked himself into a little bit of trouble with 1 out. Peeking back at second base a couple of times to Rudy. Giannini gets under the ball to center. Rudy Rote will head back to the second base bag, think about tagging, and will wisely hold up as the throw gets to the cut Connor Smith quickly, and he would have been gunned down at third base very easily. So a fly out to center makes it 2 gone. Here's Ryan Sargent. Sargent had 3 RBIs yesterday. Popped out in the first. Bats here again in the third. Reisinger trying to work out of a 2-out jam with runners at first and second. The pitch. Fly ball out of plays for strike 1. And today, a beautiful day at the ballpark. Many people taking advantage of it. Of course, the usual Bobcat contingent of parents and grandparents here. But then a little bit more on top of that, thanks to it being Senior Sunday, the final home game of the season for the Ohio Bobcats as they try to get to 10-14 in MAC play, keep their hopes for a trip to Avon alive. Here's the 0-1. That's a strike. Fastball outside corner. Very good pitch from Reisinger. Now he's 1 pitch from getting out of this 2-on, 2-out jam. No balls and 2 strikes. Rudy Rote dancing at second base. Reisinger peeks back there a couple of times. He's got a very hefty lead because nobody's holding him on. This pitch misses outside. That makes it 1 ball and 2 strikes. Check in on the score. Kent State up on Eastern Michigan 4-0. That's good for Ohio. And Ball State up on Toledo 2-0. Those are all good things for the Cats. Here comes the 1-2. Ground ball up the middle, fielded at short, and going on to first base instead of the short way at the force. Going to first for a 6-3 putout is Connor Smith. We're through 3, 4-4. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOEB. Here, he faced 1 batter, got 1 out on 2 pitches in the third to get the Bobcats out of that after Derek Carr was run after 2 2/3 innings. Carr gave up 4 runs, 2 earned, and walked 3. Gave up a couple extra base hits too. Jasek fires that one in there for a strike. Gets 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jasek looks in for the sign. Sebastian Fabic goes from left center to right center defensively. The 1-2 misses low and away. Count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ran into Jasek the other night. Watched a little bit of Matt Harvey's first start with him. Here's the 2-2, smashed at third. Giannini on a dive, makes the play, fires to first. Rudy Rote with a nice pick on the back end, and that is a sensational play by Tony Giannini at third base. Wow. One out now in the top of the 4th after Tony G got down and dirty on a dive at third to make the play. And Jasek gave him a glove-to-glove bump when he gave him the ball back. A little bit of a thank you from the Bobcat right-handed reliever. And that's a curveball in there for a strike, 0-1. Jasek takes his time here. Now he winds and delivers. That pitch misses outside. Good spot to miss. But he just missed outside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 gone, top of 4, 4-4 ball game. Jasek dealing here. That's in there. Ooh, it missed low apparently. I was fairly certain that was going to be a called strike on the fastball, but instead it missed. It's 2 balls and 1 strike now. So Jasek has fallen behind on Andrew Stone, the DH. And there's a line drive into center field, a base hit. This will get into the gap. Cut off there by Ryan Sargent. Big turn at first base. And now holding up at first is Andrew Stone. So he's aboard with a single here in the 4th. And that'll bring up Jimmy Roche. Jimmy Roche bats from the right side. The lefty Stone aboard after that single. Roche today 1 for 2, doubled in the 3rd, eventually scored. Reached on an error in the 1st and scored as well. That's a strike. No balls and 1 strike after that delivery from Jasek. Ohio, if there is one thing they are very good at doing, it's turning double plays. This team has turned 44 so far on the season. They wouldn't mind doing that one more time here. Actually, I apologize. 46 double plays turned. This is a pop fly to right. Now with some carry with this warm summer air, and underneath it and making the play is Ryan Sargent. It was hit weakly, but it had some carry, and Sargent made the play on the flyout for out number 2. Jasek has done a good job. He's pitched now a full inning out of the pen. He works now with a runner on at first. Nate Grice has reached twice. He was stranded at second in the 1st inning, tripled, scored, had an RBI in the 3rd. 2 gone. That's a strike. Curveball in there for strike 1. It's no balls and a strike. The 0-1 delivery. Misses high and wide with a curveball to Jasek there, and that makes it 1-1. The runner at first base is Stone. He had a 1-out single. But now there are 2 outs. And Logan Jasek gets ready for the break-even pitch. Bouncing ball to third. It's going to get foul. Aaron Levy is shaded well towards the second base bag. They play Grice to pull. Giannini is towards the line at third, back of the bag. The shortstop, Hafner, plays in his traditional spot. A lot of hitting room to the right side with Rudy Rote holding the runner on. Fly ball, line drive to left. Oncoming, underneath it, unable to make the play. It bounced in front of Evan Bourne in left field. He had a bad read on the ball. That was why he wasn't able to make the play. Thought he was going to be underneath it and making it, and it appeared he was underneath the ball, and then just, I guess, didn't trust himself to make the play, so then he took a step back and let the ball bounce in front of him for a single. There are 2 outs. 2 outs and 2 on for Jasek now. Brett Manis warming up in the Bobcat bullpen right now. Time has been called after Logan Jasek was taking his time against the new hitter Blake Dunn. Grise on at first. Stone is at second. The hitter is done. Line drive to left, playing shallow, moving in on it and making the play on the line is Evan Bourne. So he wasn't able to make the play on the play before, but makes the play there. And that's the third out in the top of the fourth. We head to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Tied up 4-4. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. third. They'll try to do so here in the bottom of the fourth. Townsend Chase continues to take his time warming up. We've seen him a couple of times so far this season. A check on a couple of scores from around the Mid-American Conference. On this Sunday, Kent State leads Eastern Michigan 4-2. That was 3-0. Now it's 4-2. Northern Illinois and Bowling Green just got underway. No score there. Central Michigan, Miami of Ohio tied 3-3. Ball State leading Toledo 2-0. That is good news for Ohio, as Ohio is trying to catch both Toledo and Eastern Michigan realistically in the standings. Evan Bourne will lead things off in the bottom of the fourth. We're ready to go. After the injury to Andrew Reisinger, pulled him from the game. And so with that, we're ready to go with Jim Townsend Chase in the game for Western Michigan. Evan Bourne, the hitter for the Cats. Bourne 0 for 1 today, hit a hard line drive to left. That was caught for an out. 0-1, fastball catches the outside corner for a strike. Jim Townsend Chase working quickly. He winds, kicks, and fires, and that's in the dirt. Keeping it in front of him was the catcher Forstell. Didn't really matter, but he did so. Counts even at a ball and a strike. Max McDulin here today. Russ Eisenstein on the West Coast at a wedding of a friend. Here comes the break-even pitch to Evan Bourne. Ground ball right side. Going to be a tough play. Going to his knees, turning around, flipping and firing on a 360 spin is the second baseman, Devine. That's a nice play by the Broncos second baseman for out number 1 here in the bottom of the fourth.
Now batting number 30, Aaron Levy.
Here's Aaron Levy. First pitch to Evan Bourne to Aaron Levy in there for a strike. Both of the two of the three Bobcat lefties bat back to back in the order in the 8 and 9 hole. Rudy Rote, of course, batting third. The 0-1 kicking and firing and dealing. Jim Townsend Chase, ground ball to second, a couple of hops there, and to first for the out goes Devine. Both outs have been recorded at second. Lineup turns over now for Trevor Hafner. Flew out to center, grounded out to third. Bats with 2 gone in the bottom of the fourth. First pitch misses outside for a ball, 1-0. Breaking pitch that missed outside to Hafner. Hafner's new average sits at 229. From the windup, missing low does Jim Townsend Chase. Took just 5 pitches for Townsend Chase to get 2 outs. Now he's fallen behind 2 balls and no strikes to Hafner. And misses inside. He actually almost hit Hafner with that pitch. And so Hafner is well ahead here, 3 balls and no strikes. That's a called strike. That's just a get-me-over fastball for strike 1 on 3-1. Here's the 3-1. Line drive to left, carrying back, playable for the center fielder Henderson. He's underneath it in front of the Bobcat logo in left center for out number 3. We're through 4, tied at 4. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. Off here in the top of the fifth with the game tied 4-4. Butch Baird rocks the mitt a couple of times. Now he fires. And there's a line drive to right center field. Fabic underneath it makes the catch. That's what he does. Sebastian Fabic gets a good read on the ball. He is quick on his feet, and he makes the play in right center field for out number one. One pitch, one out. Four runs, 7 hits for Western Michigan. Ohio being out-hit once again. They do have 4 runs, but just 3 hits. Here's Drew Devine, the second baseman. One pitch, one out for Baird there on the line drive fly out to center. And this pitch is fouled out of play, so Baird's ahead 0-1. Curveball in there for a strike, and now Butch Baird is ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. And this pitch misses low and inside in the dirt, essentially over the shoe tops of Drew Devine. One ball, 2 strikes. The lefty Butch Baird looks into the right-handed hitting Drew Devine. He struck out once. He walked earlier. Line drive into center. Fabic underneath it, though. He makes the play, and there's 2 gone. The fabulous Sebastian Fabic with another play in center.
Now batting number 14, Logan Hudson.
Here's the first baseman, Logan Hudson. He bats from the right side. 0 for 1 today. Walked in the third. Was stranded there. Western Michigan has left 7 aboard. Ohio has just left 3. 2 gone as Baird works here in the top of the 5th. Curveball over the top in there for a strike. Just tumbles it in there 12-6. And he's ahead once again 0-1. Baird looks in for the sign, rocks and fires, and that pitch misses just a touch high. That's a good pitch, but just missed high. 1 ball and a strike with a fastball. Here comes a break-even pitch from Butch Baird. That's a strike. Fastball that just he fires in there low and in. And now Baird is 1 strike away from a 1-2-3 top of the 5th inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The lefty gets the sign that he likes from Picnic. Comes set. Just at his chin. The 1-2 delivery. Fouled out of play down the right field side. Not a bad spot there from Butch Baird. One ball and 2 strikes. The lefty looks in, a long look in for the sign from Picnic. The Bobcats play it straight up in the infield. They're a little bit in the outfield. Here's the 1-2, and he hit him. That ball got away from him, and so Butch Baird has hit a batter. Aboard is Hudson. He was 1 strike away from getting out there. And now here comes Connor Henderson, the center fielder, who had a bunt single in the 2nd inning, flew out to right in the 3rd. Two outs, short lead at first base for Hudson. He was just plunked by Baird. That pitch misses high and inside and buckling at the knees for a moment as Henderson, as if to say, hey, Hudson just got plunked. I'm not trying to get hit either. Nobody likes bruises. 1 ball, no strikes. Time has been called by our home plate umpire. Picnic's got to adjust something there. And there's a ball outside the Bobcat dugout, too. 1 ball, no strikes. Baird works with a runner on. There's a pickoff move to first base and back in safely with just a step is Hudson. 1-0. Baird works from the stretch, as always. Tumbles a curveball over but low. It's 2 balls and no strikes. This ball is fouled back to the screen for strike 1. Now it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Two outs, 2 balls, and 1 strike. 1 runner on here in the top of the 5th inning. We've got a tie ball game 4-4 between Western Michigan and Ohio here in Athens. The 2-1. This one is fouled back to the screen, and now Butch Baird has worked this back count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's deuces across the board, 2-2 with 2 outs and a runner on at first base. 4-4 is the score. Ohio trying to keep it tied. Baird with the 2-2. Bouncing ball to third. Giannini with a nice pickup over there. Fires to first. Rudy Rote cleans it up on the back end. And we're on to the bottom of the 5th. 4-4 the score here. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. To make it to Avon, they're just playing the rest of the season out. Northern Illinois 16-32, Bowling Green 11-34. Yikes. Here's Sebastian Fabic. And he's plunked. Well, there was a hit batter by Butch Baird, and now Jim Townsend Chase follows it up with a hit batter to start things here in the bottom of the 5th. I will guarantee you that was not purposeful. You don't ever want to put the lead runner on for free. And Fabic wears it, and his on-base percentage continues to go up. Here comes Rudy Rote. He's homered in 4 straight games. He's hit 6 home runs in his last 6 ball games. He's got 15 home runs on the season, 32 total extra base hits. I talked to him yesterday about how I said, Rudy, I mean, the 2 guys that I love watching play right now are you in college baseball and Joey Votto in the majors. I will stop whatever I am doing to watch a Joey Votto at bat. I feel the same way about Rudy Rote. I won't stop doing play-by-play for you, though, because you got to hear it. Popped up on the infield on the first pitch that Rudy Rote sees. Back in short and making the play in shallow left is Connor Smith for out number 1. So Rudy Rote popped that one up, and that's the first time today he doesn't reach base. He walked in the first and singled in the third, but pops out to short here in the bottom of the 5th. Here is Tanner Picnic. Picnic 1 for 2 today, a 3-run home run in the first inning. Picnic from the right side. Sebastian Fabik is the runner at first base, being held on by the first baseman Hudson there. They play double play depth up the middle. Maybe an opportunity for one. Here's a ball to short, and it's going to be misplayed and into shallow left field. It was a slow roller, so they might score that an infield single, and it was well to the right of the shortstop Connor Smith, his right to the left of him by the directions of home plate and into the hole, and they do go ahead and score that a hit. So aboard is Picnic. And there's runners at first and second. Here's Michael Klein with 2 on and 1 out. Klein has walked twice today. His on-base percentage .367. Hitting only .220, but he's getting on base at a pretty good clip. That seems the story for a lot of the Bobcats, honestly. Their on-base percentages are all pretty steady. That ball misses inside to Klein. If you look at this, I mean, really it's debatable. Aaron Levy's at .299. Evan Bourne, .312. .315 is Tony Giannini. Kind of surprised by that one. 1 ball and no strikes to Klein. Short leads at both first and second. This is in the dirt. It's going to get all the way back to the screen. That's probably going to be a wild pitch. It did go off the glove of Forstel, but it was well in the dirt, so the runners advance to second and third. Fabik on to third, Picnic on to second. And now Klein has an RBI opportunity here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Two balls and no strikes. Michael Klein bats from the right side. There's 1 out. Couple of cats on the pond in scoring position. There's a strike. That was an inside slider that maybe caught the plate by the time it was in the mitt of the catcher Forstel, but I think it was inside before that point. But our home plate umpire sees it as a strike, and therefore it is so. 21 the count. 27, Michael Klein, the hitter. Line drive to center. Carrying back towards the track and crashing into the wall and making the play is Henderson. That will be a sac fly for Michael Klein, and the Cats have taken a 5-4 lead here in the bottom of the 5th. Klein hit it a ton to center, but this ballpark is just a little bit too big for that ball to get out of here. But Klein with a sac fly to give the Ohio team a 5-4 lead. Here's Tony Giannini. RBI triple in the first inning, flew out to center in the third. There's 2 outs, a runner still in scoring position in the form of Tanner Picnic as he tagged up from second to third on that fly ball to center field. But I tell you what, whenever somebody goes into the wood wall here in this ballpark, it is a thud. And right now, taking his time to get ready again is Henderson. He signals to his pitcher, Jim Townsend Chase, that he's ready to go again. And so therefore, Townsend Chase will toe the rubber and get ready to face Giannini. 2 outs. First pitch to Tony G is a rope down the third base line. Foul. Past Picnic in foul ground. I'm sure Picnic heard that one loud and clear. 0-1. Talk about a rope down the third base line. Giannini was on that pitch. Townsend Chase from the stretch. The righty deals, misses low and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Correction, the count is even at 1-1 after that foul ball on the first pitch. The break-even pitch from Townsend Chase misses low, 2 balls and a strike. Good plate discipline there from Tony Giannini. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Swinging over the top of it is Tony G. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Deuces across the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Runner at third base is Tanner Picnic. 1 run in for the Cats so far in the bottom of the 5th. They've retaken the lead at 5-4. Tony G trying to add to it. Townsend Chase deals in the dirt in the left-handed batter's box, doing a great job to just keep that in front of him is the catcher Forstell, and now the count has been run full at 3-2. Ryan Sargent is the Cat who waits on deck. The count full. Townsend Chase works out of the stretch. Looks in for the sign, and we're going to get through the signs again from the Western Michigan dugout as Forstell asks for a replay. The full count delivery is lifted high and deep to left with some late carry, but underneath it and making the play is Nate Grice for the 3rd out. But not before the Cats retake the lead 5-4. We head to the 6th. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. Inning of work. He looked very good in his 1 inning. Faced 4 batters through 15 pitches. He plunked 1 over the top curveball in there for a strike to start the top of the 6th. No balls and 1 strike. The lefty Butch Baird looks into the right-handed hitting Connor Smith, who leads things off. Fastball misses outside, and now the count is even at 1 ball and a strike. Butch Baird is set. Here comes the break-even pitch. Swinging through a curveball that started at the neck of the right-handed batting Andrew Smith and then finished at his toes. That is a nasty breaking pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Baird set just in front of his face. Here comes the 1-2. Bounces this one in the dirt. Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Baird ready for the 2-2. He rocks, he fires. Curveball, rope down the left field line towards the crowd on a hill. And the count stays at 2-2. Time has been called, and so it's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fly ball to center, playable for Sebastian Fabic. He's underneath it immediately and makes the play for out number 1.
Up next, number 33, Andrew Stone.
The batter now, Andrew Stone. Stone bats from the left side. The DH. 1 out. Fastball in there for a strike, 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That pitch misses low and away. It's 1 ball and a strike. That one misses high. 2 balls and 1 strike. 5-4, Ohio leads in the top of the 6th. We've reached the 2-hour mark in this one. The 2-1 from Butch Baird. Ground ball to second, fielded by Levy on a pretty high second hop. He goes to first for the second out.
Next up, number 10, Jimmy Roach.
Here's Jimmy Roach. He bats with 2 outs. Fly ball out of play down the right field line. Butch Baird is ready to go. Here comes the 0-1. That's a curveball lifted to right, tailing towards foul ground, and it will drop foul by a few feet. Chasing after it was Sargent, but he wasn't able to get there in time. And so now it's no balls and 2 strikes as Butch Baird tries to spin a 1-2-3 rack and put up another 0 out of the bullpen. No balls and 2 strikes. Butch Baird is ready to go. He comes set just at his chin. Rocks, fires. The 0-2 misses high and wide. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The way Butch Baird finishes, he just kind of sprawls out there. It's very interesting the way that he finishes his movements. It's kind of like a flailing type thing. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 out. Here's the pitch from Baird. Tapper foul to the Bobcat dugout, and it's snagged over there by a player on the top step. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Our home plate umpire meets Baird halfway to home plate to give him a fresh baseball. And now he'll take some time to clean off the dish. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Butch Baird is ready to go here as he deals to the right-handed hitting Jimmy Roche. Here's the 1-2 in the dirt, picked up by Picnic. Ends up squirting away from him a little bit, but didn't really need it. Our home plate umpire shows off his arm there, does Mark Schmidt, launching that ball out to Butch Baird. Deuces across the board now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. The lefty Butch Baird looks into the right-handed hitting Jimmy Roche. He rocks, fires. This one is fouled out of play. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Some fresh baseballs are delivered from the Bobcat dugout. We're still at deuces across the board. 5-4, Ohio leads in the top of the 6th. And Butch Baird wants Tanner Picnic to go back through the signs. Now he does. The 2-2 with 2 gone. And it's a foul ball. It goes off the bat of Roche. Our home plate umpire says it appeared that it may have hit him, but instead it went off the nub of the bat and then bounced off of his stomach. So we're still at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 misses high and wide, and now the count is run full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And now the crowd gets into it a little bit. The full count delivery oncoming. The 3-2. Fly ball center field. Fabic will play it underneath it in front of the track. And Butch Baird puts up another 0 on the board for the Cats. We head to the bottom of the 6th. 5-4, Ohio leads it. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. Later on in this ball game, our home plate umpire will get ready to go. And now we are ready to go. Townsend Chase, the righty, looks in. Works out of the stretch immediately, though nobody on. Comes set, fires. Fastball lifted to left. It's going to get out of play. Ryan Sargent was on it, but was on it a little bit too soon and fouls it out of play for strike one. 0-1. Sargent, new average at 253. Popped out in the first, grounded out to short in the third inning. 0-1, shows bunt, puts it down, left side, nicely put. Fielded by the pitcher, firing onto first base is Townsend Chase, unable to make the play, and that is a nice little drag bunt base hit for Ryan Sargent.
Next, number 9, Evan Bourne.
And he gets aboard for Evan Bourne. We'll see if maybe Ohio tries to move the runner over. Evan Bourne is the hitter, 0 for 2, new average at 207. Hit a home run yesterday, though. He has 10 RBIs on the season. Hasn't had tons of playing time. This is just his, well, would be his 59th at bat if it is not a walk or hit by pitch or something other. Or possibly a sacrifice bunt. Bourne bats from the left side. Looks out to the righty, Townsend Chase. We'll see if something is on here. Third baseman is in on the cut of the grass. Bourne does show bunt, puts it down, left side foul. It's going to be snagged by the catcher Forstell in foul ground, and so now it's 0-1. As Ohio is trying to move the runner Sargent over. No balls and 1 strike. The hitter is Bourne. On at first, after a bunt single, is Ryan Sargent. Aaron Levy is who waits on deck. Bourne shows bunt again, puts it down the first base line. Fair ball, fielded by the first baseman Hudson. Goes to first base to the second baseman Devine, covering for the out. And so Evan Bourne does his job there, moves the runner over. Sargent at second. Aaron Levy now will hit. Aaron Levy, the second baseman, batting .229 is his new batting average. The lineup will turn over after Levy. So it's Hafner who waits on deck. Fabic in the hole. 1 out, runner at second base is Ryan Sargent. Levy pops this one out of play for strike 1. Behind on a fastball, 0-1. Aaron Levy rips this one foul down the right field line. And so now he's behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Aaron Levy hitting .229, flew out to center field, grounded to second, batting just .204 with runners in scoring position. His on-base percentage sits at .296. He does have 20 RBIs, though. Had a big chunk of those early in the season, it appeared. Just wasn't really able to carry some of that better fortune in the Mid-American Conference play, it seems. The 0-2 misses high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Townsend Chase has now thrown 30 pitches out of the bullpen. Western Michigan does not have anyone warming up down there. Ohio does have someone up throwing. Due up is Nate Grice, Blake Dunn, and then left-handed batter Jesse Forstell. The 4, 5, 6 hitters of Western Michigan. Time called by our home plate umpire. And now we're back ready to go with a 1-2. Townsend Chase takes a peek to second. Now he delivers. Here's a ball lifted into left field. That's a base hit. Rounding third, heading for home is Sargent. He will score. Levy takes a big turn at first base. Will head back to first. That's an RBI single off the bat of Aaron Levy. Ohio now leads it 6-4. Gets an insurance run here. And the lineup will turn over to Trevor Hafner. Ohio leading 6-4. As they try to get to win number 10 in Mid-American Conference play this season. So far, they seem well on pace to do so. And the teams to watch are Eastern Michigan and Toledo, and Kent State leads Eastern Michigan 6-2. Ball State leads Toledo 4-1. As Ohio tries to cling to the opportunity to get to Avon. Miami leads Central Michigan 6-3. With one gone, here's the pitch. That misses low and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Batting now is Hafner. He hits from the right side. Runner going, swing and a miss, throw down, and they got him. He's out. That's out number 2, and it looked like rolling his ankle was Connor Smith on the tag. So out at second base is Aaron Levy. There's now 2 gone, and time has been called, it appears, by Jernan. I don't know if maybe him and the trainer are going to go and take a peek at his second baseman. I think he's okay, but we'll see. Jernan, a player's coach, just wants to make sure his man is all right. This isn't one of those situations where he's stalling to try and give his reliever more time to warm up or anything like that. And he's got nobody in the bullpen. He just wanted to check in on his second baseman. That was a strike, by the way, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs as Hafner hits. Count is even at 1 ball and a strike. Hafner bats from the right side. The break-even pitch, fouled back to the screen. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. One, 2 with 2 outs in the Bobcat bottom of the 6th as we're about to head to the 7th. Hafner trying to extend the bottom of the 6th for the Cats. Missing high with it is Jim Townsend Chase. That makes it 2 balls and 2 strikes as it's deuces across the board now. Nobody on. The defense plays completely straight up everywhere. The 2-2. Line drive to left center, carrying back, and it's going to get in there for a base hit. Cutting it off before it could get to the wall was Grise. In with a head-first dive and stretching it into a double is Hafner. That's a good bit of base running from Hafner. He wanted to go 2 all the way, gets in with a head-first dive, and so he's at second base for Sebastian Fabic.
Now batting number 34, Sebastian Fabic.
Two outs. The batter is Townsend Chase. Swing and a miss, strike 1. No balls and a strike. With 2 outs, the runner at second base. It is Hafner after he doubled. The 0-1 to Fabic, and he fouls this back to the screen. It's no balls and 2 strikes. So Sebastian Fabic has fallen behind 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second base is Hafner. Here's the pitch. Fly ball to right underneath it, and making the play is done. So the Cats add a run in the 6th. They lead it 6-4. We head to the 7th. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. Ready to hit. The lefty Manis kicks and fires, and that pitch misses low with a curveball, 1 ball and no strikes to start the top of the 7th. And that's in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 is popped up into right. Oncoming, and underneath it is Sargent towards the foul line, and he makes the play for out number 1.
Now batting number 1, Blake Dunn.
So here comes Blake Dunn. Dunn bats from the right side. With 1 out, he hits. Line drive into left. It'll drop in there for a hit in front of Evan Bourne, and now Manis will get to face a lefty in the form of Jesse Forstell, who is 0 for 3 today. And maybe the Bobcats can turn their 47th double play of the season to get us out of the top of the 7th quickly. Ohio leads it 6-4. And time has been called as a conversation will happen between Jernan and his batter Forstell here. I'm not sure if maybe he wants him to try and bunt the runner over. Would kind of be an interesting decision with Devine and Hudson, who are combined 0 for 3 today, coming up next, and that would be the second out of the inning. But Forstell steps into the box. We'll see what he'll do here against the lefty Manis. First pitch in the dirt. Picnic with a nice pick to his left to keep that ball from running to the backstop and not giving the runner Dunn any opportunity to advance. Here's the 1-0. Ground ball foul down the third base line. Makes it 1 ball and 1 strike. Manis ready to go. Looks in for the sign from Picnic. Now he comes set. At the belt, peeks over at first base. Rudy Rote holding the runner on. Here's the delivery. That pitch misses low and away. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1, that misses high and inside. Almost hit Forstell with that pitch, did Manis. It's now 3-1. Ohio leads 6-4 in the top of the 7th. There's 1 gone, 1 on. So the tying run at the plate. Here's the 3-1 delivery, and Manis walked him. And he's very upset with himself. He knows that his #1 job is to get left-handers out. But looks like Rob Smith will be sticking with him for at least 1 more batter, as there is a Bobcat warming in the bullpen down there, but not coming in just yet. So Manis now will face Drew Devine. And maybe I spoke too soon, because now Rob Smith does take the long trot out of the dugout. And we'll see if it's just a conversation between him and his left-handed pitching reliever, or if this is a substitution. Manis currently with a 2.92 ERA, but he's given up a walk and a single here in the top of 7. And he indeed is done. So a call to the bullpen here for the Cats. This is a 60-second pause. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB.
Number 22, Corey Blessing.
Max McDulin here, substitution for the Cats. They have brought in, I believe this is Corey Blessing. Indeed it is. Corey Blessing, right-hander, 6'2", 188, senior on senior day from Mayfield, Ohio, making an appearance here. Blessing this season at 2.91 ERA, leads all the Cats out of the pen outside of Logan Jasek. 3-3, 27th appearance. He does have 1 save. He's gone 46 innings, given up 15 earned, 17 walks, 41 strikeouts in his 46 innings pitched. Opponents hitting just 201 against him. And so a good outing here would be very nice for the Cats, as Blessing might even have a chance to go the distance in this one, really. Maybe go 2 2/3. We've seen him do some hefty work out of the pen, although I do believe that Jake Rowan is likely available today after pitching in Game 1 and not in Game 2. And of course, with it being senior day, I'm sure Rob Smith would like to get him in the game, especially in a save situation. If possible, the Bobcat all-time leading closer broke a record last season with 15 saves, which in collegiate baseball is a really impressive number. It's like the equivalent of 45 in the majors. One out, runners on first and second. That's a strike. The 0-1. That's low in the dirt. 1 ball and strike. One ball and 1 strike. Here's a line drive into right, oncoming, dropping in front of Ryan Sargent, who was charging. And the runners will move up station to station, so now the bases are loaded for the Broncos.
Now batting number 14, Logan Hudson.
There's a strike from Corey Blessing. That catches the outside corner, 0-1. The hitter is Logan Hudson, the first baseman. A lot of batters have come to bat here in the top of the 7th. No balls and 1 strike. There's a curveball that misses high. Now it's 1-1. One out, the 1-1 from Blessing. Line drive over the top of a leafing Hafner. It's short. 1 run will score. Now rounding third and heading to home is Forstel, and we've got a tie ball game. Heading into third base on the single is Devine, so he goes corner to corner. At first, it is Hudson, and that is a 2 RBI single that ties the game at 6. And so time has been called, and a conversation will happen at first base between the pitcher Blessing, Rudy Rote, and his catcher Picnic. And now Rob Smith is going to go ahead and join the conversation. And so this game that seems to be moving at a snail's pace continues to do so. And so now our home plate umpire is going to go ahead and break up this conversation. 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors for Western Michigan. 6 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for the Cats today. This game has moved along pretty slowly. We're 2 hours, 32 minutes into it, and the top of the 7th. But not only that, it's been one of those games where there's been a lot of pitching changes and such. There's 1 out. The right-handed hitter is Connor Henderson, the center fielder. So, runners on the corners. Rudy Rote holds the runner on at first base in the form of Logan Hudson. Devine is at third. Blessing pitches now. He's given up 2 hits, which have produced a couple of runs. This is a fastball over for a strike, 0-1. 1 out in the top of the 7th. Ohio needs to get out of this inning. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If they still want a chance to get to Avon, which is very much reachable, possible, if they can get a win today and sweep next weekend. But if they don't win today, it's essentially impossible. Swing and a miss on a fastball on the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. Hudson at first base does have 2 stolen bases this season. We'll see if maybe he's going on the 0-2 count here to try and get Ohio to throw through if it's a ball or a strikeout, with a runner at third base being Devine being the go-ahead runner. Maybe something could be on. Western Michigan today, 6 for 12 in hitting with runners on, 5 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Trying to add to that total is Henderson. Trying to slow it down is Blessing. Here's a ball in the dirt off of Picnic. That'll be the go-ahead run. Corey Blessing just buried that ball in the dirt in the left-handed batter's box, and Ohio has given up 3 runs in the top of the 7th. They've given up a 2-run lead, and now it's a 1-run lead for Western Michigan. So the bullpen had done some good work. Put up 3 straight zeros in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. But 3 runs in the 7th are the difference maker in this game now, as Ohio led by 2, but now Western leads by 1. That's a wild pitch. And so that is the first earned run out of the pen for Corey Blessing today. Here's a pop fly out of play, and so we'll stay set at 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's what happens when you get a runner on first base. On third base, and there's 1 out. There's just so many ways to score that run. It's very difficult as an opposing team to prevent that run from coming in. Sac fly, pass ball, wild pitch, ground ball to the right side as a curveball misses high and wide. Now the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2. Fouled back to the screen. Two. Fly ball to left on a line, oncoming and making the play. Getting the ball back into second quickly, trying to double up the base runner Hudson, who had come off the bag, is born in left. That was a smart play, but he was back in safely on a head-first dive. And so now there's 2 outs. And now the hitter is going to be Connor Smith. After Henderson lines out to left on a 2-2 pitch, Connor Smith hits now. He bats .337. Ohio trying to get to the bottom of the 7th, trailing by only 1. There's an extra insurance run sitting out at second base right now. Blessing has given up an earned run. He's also given up a couple of hits that led to 2 others. That pitch misses. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Two balls and no strikes. Runner at second base is Hudson. He's got a hefty lead. Here's a ball ripped to the gap in left center, carrying back towards the wall. It's going to one-hop the wall and bring that insurance run in. That's going to be an RBI stand-up double for Connor Smith. And now Western Michigan has put up a 4 spot here in the top of the 7th, and Ohio trails 8-6. Here comes Andrew Stone to hit now. Our home plate umpire will call time to clean off the dish. And the designated hitter, Stone, will come to the plate. He's 1 for 4 today, struck out in the first inning, Grounded to second, singled, and grounded to second a second time. There's activity in the Bobcat bullpen, but right now this is Corey Blessing's mess to work out of. He's given up 3 hits, 2 earned runs. 4 runs have come across since he entered the ball game now with 2 outs. Here's the pitch over the top. That's a strike. Here's the 0-1. Ground ball and past a diving Rudy Rote at first base. That'll bring in another run for Western Michigan, and they now lead it 9-6. Rudy Rote on a dive at first base, couldn't get to it. And that's an RBI single for Andrew Stone, and that'll bring up Jimmy Roach. Time's been called. Rob Smith will take the trot out to the mound, and I believe this is going to be a pitching change, as Corey Blessing has given up 3 earned runs, 5 runs total since entering the ball game here in the top of the 7th. He just didn't have the stuff today, unfortunately, for Rob Smith and the Cats, and so he will step out. Pitching change for Ohio. They trail 9-6 in the top of 7 with 2 outs. We'll take a 60-second pause for the pitching change. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. signaled and popped out today. Picnic, due up second, is 2 for 3. Klein has walked both times that he's been to the plate. Or walked twice and hit by a pitch. Missing high and away, 1 ball and no strikes. Line drive to the first baseman on a hop. Really, not a line drive, but a shot on a hop to the first baseman, Hudson. He fields and is able to make the play as he pitches it onto the pitcher, Mihelic. Mihelic, by the way, entering the game with a 5.84 ERA. This is the second time we've seen him on this weekend. Took him 2 pitches to delete Rudy Rote. Now we'll see what he can do with Tanner Picnic. Picnic hit that 3-run home run back in the first inning. Flew out to center in the third, and he singled in the fifth. As the righty Mihelic looks in, deals. That's a curveball for a strike. In the fifth inning, after that single, Picnic was stranded at third base. Here's the 0-1. Swinging over the top of it is Picnic. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 0-2 with 1 gone. That pitch misses outside. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 delivery. Pop fly out of play. And so Picnic stays alive here. Michael Klein is who waits on deck. But Picnic is the man that Ohio really needs to get aboard. Rudy Rote, unfortunately, was deleted on a ground out to first base on only 2 pitches. Picnic bats, 1-2 delivery, swing and a miss, and it's into the mitt of Forstel. And so set down on strikes is Picnic. That will bring up Michael Klein with 2 quick outs in the bottom of 7. So Mihelic has looked solid out of the bullpen. Ground out to first and a strikeout. We'll see if Klein can do anything against him. So Klein walked in the first, scored a run. Walked in the third, was stranded at first. With 2 outs, first pitch to him, misses low and inside. In the fifth inning, I said hit by pitch. It was a sac fly to center field in the fifth inning. That gave Ohio the lead back for a couple innings. But then it was stolen away from them by Western Michigan in the top of 7. That pitch misses low with a fastball, 2 balls and no strikes. Klein ahead. Klein's had a very productive day. Aboard twice, scored a run, and has an RBI. And there's a foul ball back to the screen on the first pitch that Klein offers at. So now it's 2 balls and 1 strike to the right-handed hitting Michael Klein. And Michael Klein has been that very good two-way player for the Cats in his career. Talked about that during the Senior Day festivities earlier, about how strong he's been both with the bat and with his arm. And now he ropes one to left, but it'll get foul. He hammered that to left, but it gets out of play. And now Mihelic has gotten into a spot where he could get a 1-2-3 rack very quickly for Western Michigan out of the pen. It's deuces across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. And that one goes all the way back to the screen as it's a pitch that goes off the mid of Forstel that was outside. The count is now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Michael Klein hits from the right side. Here's the delivery. This is popped up. Back of the catcher, underneath it, pitching his mask and making the play, does Forstel. It's a 1-2-3 rack for Mihelic out of the pen. We head to the 8th. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. He walked in the first, was stranded at second base. Flew out to right field in the seventh. First pitch misses high and wide for ball one with a fastball. Remaining in the game is Nick Camrata. He threw 2 pitches to get 1 out to finish off the seventh. Pitches here going around as he tried to check his swing is Grise, so that's strike 1. It's 1-1. Fly ball, right side. Rudy Rote chasing after it. It'll get out of play, though. One ball and 2 strikes. The righty Nate Grice looks out to the righty pitcher Camrata. Here comes the 1-2, and that misses low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. This Bobcat team, it just seems like all season long, has been so close, yet so far away to being that type of team from 15 or 17. It's just they haven't been able to piece it together. Here's the 2-2. Swinging over the top of that one for strike 3 is Grise. First strikeout for Camrata out of the pen. But it's just as if the team can't be hot at the same time at the plate. It's as if the starting pitching gets good for a little while, the relievers don't. And then the relievers are on fire, but they're coming in to clean up messes by starters. It's just nothing has clicked all at the same time this season for the Cats. That ball bounces in the dirt for ball 1, 1-0. And it happens in baseball. I mean, everybody. Here's a pop fly, right side. That's going to get out of play. One ball and 1 strike. That's in the dirt. And now it's 2 balls and a strike. Here's a fly ball to right, carrying back, playable for Sargent. He's underneath it. Now there's 2 gone in the top of the 8th inning. So far, Camrata's looked pretty good out of the bullpen for the Bobcats. Hasn't taken him too many pitches to get a good chunk of outs. He's now through a full inning of work. Of course, he came in with 1 out to go in the top of the 7th, so there's 2 gone here in the top of the 8th inning. He's had to throw just 11 pitches to get 3 outs in the 3 batters that he's faced, and that includes a strikeout. That'll bring up Forstell, the catcher. He grounded out to second base in the 1st inning, struck out in the 3rd, as now coming set and firing here is Camrata, swinging a miss to the first pitch he offers. Flew out to center in the 5th, walked and scored a run in the 7th, although it seems like who didn't score a run in the 7th inning for Western Michigan, as everybody batted and 5 runs came in to score. Here's Forstell, the 0-1 delivery, misses low, 1 ball and a strike. The count is now even. Line drive, rope down the first base line. That'll get foul. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes after the break-even pitch is down the line. The reason they call that the break-even pitch at 1-1 is because no matter what happens, unless there's runners on and there's a balk, I guess, you are going to have a change in the 1-1. It's either going to be a ball, it's 2-1, or as that pitch misses inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Or you're going to get a strike, maybe a swinging strike, maybe a foul ball. You know, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes now with 2 outs, but this is not a break-even pitch because a foul ball, obviously things stay at 2-2. With deuces across the board, here's the 2-2. Fly ball to center on a line. Underneath it is Garcia. He makes the play for the 3rd out. We head to the bottom of the 8th. That was a nice little 1-2-3 rack spun by Camrata there. Ohio trails 9-6. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. All right, here we go. It's Giannini. He faces off. And the first pitch that he faces from Mihelic is popped up back home. One pitch, one out. Underneath it is the catcher, Forstell, for out number 1. Ohio down to their final 5 outs now, trailing 9-6. Here's Ryan Sargent.
Ryan Sargent.
Here's Ryan Sargent. That's a strike. Good pitch there from Mihelic. He continues to work. He's now an inning and a third into his stuff out of the pen. Here comes the 0-1. That's low and away. And now it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Sargent, the hitter. Bourne is who waits on deck. Mihelic continues to work. Here comes the break-even pitch as he rocks and fires. That's high and tight, and it just barely missed getting a piece of Ryan Sargent. Two balls and a strike. Ground ball left side. Smith fields it, fires to first, and there's the out. So now there's 2 gone in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Ohio is down to just their final 4 outs, and here comes Evan Bourne. Bourne wears the number 9, bats from the left side. He's lined out to left in the first inning. That was a really good play by Nate Grise to make the play. Henderson is in center, Dunn in right, Roche at third, Smith at short, Devine at second, Hudson first base, Forstell the catcher. Mihelic on the mound defensively for Western Michigan with 2 gone here in the bottom of the 7th, or bottom of the 8th, pardon me. Bourne 0 for 2 today. Line to left, ground to second, sacrifice bunt in the 6th inning. First pitch to him misses high. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Rocking and delivering already again is Mihelic, and he misses with a curveball. 2 balls and no strikes over the top of the shoes of Evan Bourne. Here's the 2-0. That misses low. 3 balls and no strikes. .3-0. That's in there for a strike. That was just a get-me-over fastball from Mihelic. After he retired the first 2 Bobcats quickly, he fell behind 3-0 to Evan Bourne. Now he's gotten it to 3 balls and a strike. Hitters count for Bourne. Hit a home run yesterday. Here's the 3-1 to him, and he fouls this ball out of play down the left field line towards some umbrellas over there on the hill, and now the count is full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. The crowd and the Bobcats up at the top of the step trying to encourage Evan Bourne here in this full count situation as he faces off against Mihelic. Our home plate umpire says, yes, we're ready to go. Here comes the full count delivery, missing low with it, and Evan Bourne has worked a walk. Two outs. Here is Aaron Levy. Here's Aaron Levy. He bats from the left side. At first base is Bourne. He's got a very short lead there. And the first pitch to Levy misses high and away with a curveball. It's 1 balls and no strikes. And now time has been called, and a conversation will be had on the mound by the entirety of Western Michigan's infield, and their manager, Jernan, is out there as well. Well, Major League Baseball scores are pretty wild today. We've got no score in A's Yankees. 17-1, Orioles all over the Rays. Red Sox up 4-3 on the Blue Jays. Mariners and Tigers tied. Indians Royals 11-2. Braves Marlins, the only game final. That was a 4-3 victory for the Atlanta Braves. Mets, Phillies, 0-0 in the bottom of the fourth. White Sox trailing the Cubs in the crosstown rivalry 3-2. Here's the 1-0, swing and a miss from Aaron Levy. 4-0, Brewers lead the Rockies, and the Astros are on top of their rival, the Rangers, 3-0. So a couple of fun interleague matchups. Or, well, no, Astros-Rangers, of course, used to be interleague, but now the Astros in the AL. 1-1 strike to Aaron Levy. He hits from the left side. There's a runner at first base in Evan Bourne. There's a pickoff move. Almost caught Evan Bourne leaning, but was able to get back in time on a dive, and tag wasn't even applied. But he was leaning when that throw came over. Mihelic looks in for the sign. The righty delivers, and that's inside to Levy over the top of his knees. 2 balls and a strike. 9-6, Western Michigan leads it in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ohio down to their final 4 outs, trailing by 3. Short lead at first for Bourne. Levy looks out to Mihelic. That's a strike. Deuces across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Levy 1 for 3 today. Flew out to center in the second. Grounded to second in the fourth. Had an RBI single in the 6th inning. A little flare to left. Hits here in the bottom of the 8th. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Bobcats trail 9-6. We're through 8. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. Here's the first pitch from Jake Rowan. It misses outside. Here's a pop-up on the right side of the infield. Rudy Rote, the first baseman, is underneath it. He shields his eyes from the sun, makes the catch in his left-hand pocket, so to speak, and there's one gone in the top of the 9th inning after Jake Rowan just has to throw a couple of pitches. That's not a bad way to start the top of the 9th. Jake Rowan with that wing out in front of his face. ready to go now against Logan Hudson. And here's a line drive to left, carrying back towards the wall. It's going to get up against the wall. It's going to be fielded out there by the left fielder, Evan Bourne. That's going to be a stand-up double on one pitch, and that is a rip. That's the 9th double now that Jake Rowan has given up on the season. That is a category that he has given up some hits in, it seems like. You know, he doesn't give up many hits, but he's given up 9 doubles. It's a pretty good chunk. And so now that'll bring up Connor Henderson. Henderson bats from the right side. He is a switch hitter, by the way, but he has batted from the right side all day long. Here's the pitch. That's inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Line drive, rope foul off the hill. Whoosh. Talk about a rip. Count even now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Rowan comes set with a 1-1. Here's the pitch from the Bobcat. Right-handed reliever, and it's in there for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fastball outside corner. Very good stuff from Rowan. 8 for 16 with runners on. 7 for 12 with runners in scoring position today for Western Michigan. That is how you lead a ball game 9-6. Converting when the chances present themselves. I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to Western Michigan for doing that. Here's a line drive to center. Underneath it is Garcia. He makes the play. He'll get it into the cut Hafner very quickly, and the runner Hudson will hold at second base. And actually it goes over the head of Hafner, and Tony Giannini got to it and the infield grass, but Hudson holds at second base, and there's 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Two outs. The righty Rowan looks in for the sign, and he fires. That's a curveball that misses, and the ball squirts away from Picnic, but holding at second base is Hudson, as he got a good secondary lead and then started leaning back towards second base. And once he did that, he knew that Picnic had gotten to the ball, and it was too late to take off for third. Had he been going immediately, he probably could have gotten into third base, but instead, because he wasn't, he had to get back to second quickly, and indeed did so. The count's 1 ball and no strikes. Rowan takes a peek back to second base. Now he looks to the hitter. There's a pop fly on the infield, left side, towards the Bobcat dugout. Tony Giannini is there, sliding into the Bobcat dugout. Well, just to the edge of the Bobcat dugout, I should say, is Tanner Picnic. The ball ends up bouncing into the Bobcat dugout just off the screen there. That's a tough spot for a ball to get to because the opening to the dugout is not very large, and then that screen is there so quickly. Most of the time, when you see a ball towards the dugouts here, it'll bounce off the roof of the dugout, not go into it. But it went into the Bobcat dugout there. Needless to say, though, it's a foul ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jake Rowan with that wing out in front of his face. That's how he likes to pitch. And that's back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Rowan looks in for the sign. Now he delivers. Pop fly out of play. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Rowan trying to get this thing to the bottom of the 9th inning. Ohio trails by 3, 9-6. Here's the 1-2. Pop fly, right side. That'll get out of play as well. Picnic takes a peek, but it's out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Pop fly, that'll get out of play as well. It's just the continuous pop flies out of play in this at-bat here. As finally somebody's making Rowan throw some pitches. He had only thrown 6 pitches heading into this at-bat with Connor Smith. That number is now up to 12. But the count only 1-2 because Smith's been able to spoil a few. The runner at second is Hudson. Smith, the hitter, the leadoff hitter for this squad. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that's in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So it's deuces across the board once again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Here's a ball ripped into left. This is going to get all the way to the wall. That's going to be a stand-up RBI double. In there safely is Connor Smith, and that makes it a 10-6 lead for Western Michigan. And unfortunately for the Cats, it's starting to seem like the chance of being in Avon, which was already on life support, well, the plug might be getting pulled on that here shortly because Ohio is looking like it'll drop 2 of 3 to Western Michigan at home, and even a sweep would only get them to 12 wins, and there's not many worlds that exist where they can get to Avon with just 12. 2 outs and a runner at second base. Here's the pitch from Rowan. That missed low. 1-0. One ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch. Fly ball to center. Underneath it is Devin Garcia, and he will make the play for the 3rd out. 1 run comes across in the top of the 9th. Ohio trails by 4. It's 10-6. Can the Cats rally? Due up, Trevor Hafner, Devin Garcia, then Rudy Rote. This is Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB. Winners. It's the bottom of the 9th, 10-6. Ohio trails. This is Bobcat Baseball 1340 WOUB. Max McDulin bringing you the game, flying solo today. The first pitch is in there for a strike as Mihelic goes to work. This is now his 3rd inning of work out of the bullpen. He's gone a full 2. He's struck out 2, walked 1. He has thrown 29 pitches, make it 30 now after that strike. Here comes the 0-1 to Hafner, and that's strike 2. Same spot, same pitch. No balls and 2 strikes. And so now Hafner has fallen behind quickly and needs to protect. Here comes the 0-2 from Hafner. And it's a swing and a miss. I should say Mihelic to Hafner. And Hafner is down on strikes. He goes 1, 2, 3. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night to Hafner. And here comes Devin Garcia. Devin Garcia bats for the first time today. He bats .232, an on-base percentage of .324, slugs .326. Here's the first pitch to him, and it's fouled back to the screen, and Mihelic is ahead. No balls and a strike. And Rudy Rote will trot out of the on-deck circle and grab that foul ball. And this is the final Bobcat home game that will be played on this grass surface. Here's the 0-1, and that's a strike. Curveball inside. No balls and 2 strikes. The infield will be turf next year. The outfield will still be grass, at least for another season. They will have a full turf facility at some point. It's just not exactly decided when the outfield grass will become turf yet, but the infield will be turf. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Devin Garcia down on strikes, and now Ohio down to their final out. It'll be Rudy Rote who tries to extend this game, the hottest hitter in the Bobcats lineup. He's 1 for 3 today. He singled and walked. Then he popped out to first base, or grounded out to first base, unassisted. First pitch to Rudy misses. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Line drive up the middle. 1 hop into the hands of the second baseman, Devine, and he makes the play for the final out. Rudy Rote hit it hard. It was a 1-hopper to Devine to the right of the bag at second base, and the ball game is over. Ohio falls in this series 2-1. It was a fun one. I mean, the bats were there. The Cats were there. They just couldn't put it together. Ohio falls 10-6 in the final one in this series. The way the series shook out was a 7-6 loss in Game 1, a 10-7 victory in Game 2, and the Cats fall 10-6 in Game 3. Ohio, unfortunately, with this unhappy final, falls to 9-15 in Mid-American Conference play and is in a spot where it's extremely difficult to make it to Avon without having a chance to reach 13 victories. As of right now, the chance for that to happen still exists, but if anybody gets to 13, Eastern Michigan or Toledo, they will be officially eliminated. So the Cats fall to 9-15, 21-29. Western Michigan 22-23, and now 11-11 in Mid-American Conference play. And the Broncos are in position to make a trip up to Avon, it does appear. We're going to go ahead and take a 2-minute pause. This has been Bobcat Baseball on 1340 WOUB.